Stop for a moment and imagine this. A year passes before you even realize it. 12 months of your life slipping away like sand through your fingers. And the terrifying truth, most of it could be wasted, just like so many before you. What would it feel like to watch life move on while you stand still? If you don't act, this could be you. Now, let me tell you a story from a time when life was harsher, slower, but the lessons eternal. His name was Ethan Harper, a young man in his early 20s living in a modest wooden cottage on the outskirts of a small town. Smoke from the chimneys curled into the cold sky. Ethan's home was simple: a worn oak table, a fireplace that barely warmed the room, and a bed that had seen better days. Ethan was not poor in spirit, but he had been drifting. Fear weighed him down, the fear of failure, of judgment, of stepping outside the expectations of his family and community. Nights were the worst. He would lie awake on the thin straw mattress, staring at the beams above, haunted by dreams he had abandoned and chances he had ignored. His father's stern eyes and quiet sighs haunted him. His mother's soft, worried whispers echoed in his mind. Friends and acquaintances seemed to move forward with courage and ambition, while he remained trapped in indecision. Loneliness settled like winter frost over him. One bitter evening, as rain pattered against the wooden shingles, Ethan wandered into the town square. A fiddler played beneath the lantern light, his bow dancing across strings with passion. A child placed a copper coin into the musician's hat and smiled. The fiddler's eyes lit up, and he played with more heart than Ethan had ever seen in his own attempts at life. It struck him suddenly. Life was happening all around him, and he had done nothing. Every day spent idle, every opportunity ignored, every dream postponed. It was all slipping away. That night, he returned home, drenched, and faced the stark truth. A year of his life had passed without him taking any meaningful action. The walls of his little cottage seemed to close in. The cold bit through his coat, but the chill in his chest was far worse. Tears blurred his vision. He felt despair, regret, and a crushing loneliness unlike anything before. In a moment of desperation, he wrote a letter to his mother. "I am lost. I fear another year will vanish and I will be nothing." Her reply, written with care and ink-stained fingers, arrived the next morning. "Ethan, it is never too late, but you must act today." Her words were a spark, a fragile ember, but it was enough to ignite something inside him. The following day, Ethan met old Thomas, a wise man who had lived in the town his entire life. Thomas had seen countless young men drift aimlessly and had no patience for wasted potential. "You're letting your days vanish," old Thomas said, his voice firm but kind. "I've wasted plenty of my own, and I've learned one thing: action. Not tomorrow, not next moon, action. One step, then another, then the next. That is how you stop a year from slipping through your hands." Ethan nodded. The simplicity of it struck him. One step, that was all. And so he made a promise. Face one fear each day. Do one thing that moves him closer to his dream. Reflect each night on what he had accomplished. No grand plans, no sudden fortune, just deliberate action every single day. The first test came quickly. Ethan had always wanted to paint, but his fear of ridicule had kept him silent. He entered a small local fair to display his work. The morning of the fair, his hands shook, his stomach churned. Villagers stared, whispers ran through the crowd, but he stood tall, and slowly he noticed people stopping, pointing, admiring. The fear remained, but so did a new, unfamiliar sensation: pride. Daily progress. He woke with the first light of dawn, long before the roosters crowed. 1 hour each morning was devoted to his craft, sketching, planning, writing. The first days were brutal. Cold fingers, aching eyes, doubt whispering, "Why try? It won't matter." But he persisted. Each line drawn, each stroke painted, each careful word written was proof he was taking control. Progress was slow, almost invisible, but it was monumental. Every evening by candlelight, he recorded 3 things he had done that day that truly mattered. Some nights, only one, and that was enough. Slowly, the collection of small victories began to add up. Confidence returned, clarity returned. The days no longer blurred together. He began to feel alive again, intentional, present. Setbacks came. A villager dismissed a painting. A letter he wrote went unanswered. Friends scoffed at his determination. Yet he continued. Self-doubt became a companion, not a cage. Every struggle, every failure, every small victory was part of the journey. A year later, Ethan returned to the town square. The fiddler played the same haunting tune beneath the lanterns. Ethan smiled, not because life was perfect, but because he had lived it fully. He had sold his first painting, written the first draft of his manuscript, rebuilt relationships, taken risks, reclaimed his life. He understood something profound. The difference between a wasted year and a transformed one is one decision, and the courage to act upon it. The man who almost let a year vanish was no longer trapped in indecision. He was deliberate, present, and unstoppable. Stop waiting. Stop drifting. The year you almost waste could become the year that defines you, but only if you act today.